All right, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel here once again. So, it's that time of year again. It's time for Survivor Series War Games. Of course, Survivor Series War Games is next week, on the 29th, and things are coming together when it comes to not just the actual matches for the card, but for both the men's and women's War Games matches. Now, at this point in time, I'm at the time of this recording, which is on the 19th, and this will also be uploaded on the 19th of November. We have all five, or all 10 men, I should say, for the men's War Games match. So it's going to be CM Punk, the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the OTC Roman Reigns going against the Vision, that being both Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, who is part of the Vision question mark, Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, and of course they're being accompanied by Paul Heyman. As for the women's, we have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Alexa Bliss. As in two to be determined. Originally, I think originally Charlotte Flair was supposed to be in it, but she's peeled out, so either she's gonna be in the match after all, or they'll find a way to weasel her back in, or someone else is taking her place. He's and they're going against Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and their partners to be announced. Oh, uh, so the field is set when it comes to war games. But since we're on the topic of war games, and since it's right around the corner, and since one of the reviews I'm doing this week, which was supposed to be coming out last week, but better late than never, I suppose, was as of late, a lot of people are starting to ask the question: should WWE stop doing war games? WWE has been doing war games at Survivor Series for a few years now, starting in 2022, and so far 2022, 2023, 2024, and now this year 2025 have all had war games matches at Survivor Series. They featured men's and women's war games matches at Survivor Series, but a lot of people are starting to get kind of sick of them. And a lot of people feel that WWE should not do war games anymore, or WWE should go back to the traditional 5-on-5 tag style for Survivor Series. Some even want them to bring back SmackDown versus Raw when it comes to Survivor Series. Today I asked the question and seek to answer: or should WWE stop doing war games at Survivor Series? Now, I'm going to present both sides, kind of the pros and cons of war games at Survivor Series. So I'll start with the cons, and we'll start with why a lot of people feel we shouldn't do that WWE shouldn't do war games at Survivor Series anymore. Why people are starting to get sick of them. For starters, a lot of people feel that the winners who ultimately pick up the win and are starting to get a little predictable when it comes to who has the chance of winning, and whether it was the original Bloodline last year, or Cody's team in 2023, or even the Bloodline in 2022. Well, a lot of people feel like the winners are starting to get a bit predictable. In addition, a lot of people feel that the builds to the War Games matches aren't that great. Mainly especially on the women's side. The men's side, not as much. Oftentimes, those are usually okay. They very much could be done better. But a lot of people feel, well, especially with the women's, that things feel a little thrown together. It's like, hey, let's bring people back to the fold. Let's bring people into the fold for the two teams just because. As hey, screw it. You five aren't doing anything. You five aren't doing anything. Now fight each other, or in two cages and two rings. So a lot of people feel that a lot of these teams are kind of thrown together. Like I said, especially for the women's side, that's been the criticism for a couple years now. Oh, uh, as for or but for the pros side of things, and, but also one more kind of con, drawback, however you refer to it, is, that I should bring up is that a lot of people feel like War Games should go back to NXT. The NXT War Games matches. If you haven't seen an NXT War Games match, I highly recommend it because stuff got crazy there. Admittedly, some of the stuff they do in the War Games matches here on the main roster at Survivor Series are callbacks, especially with Io Sky putting the trash can on her head and then jumping off. But War Games it's pretty crazy at Survivor Series. He's and most of the time those matches involve the Undisputed Era, but yeah, so a lot of people feel NXT should have War Games again, and especially with them teasing at potentially doing it earlier this year. If you remember, at NXT Homecoming, where Triple H and Shawn Michaels kind of had the segment in the ring, and it seemed like it was potentially leading to NXT versus WWE at Survivor Series, or main roster versus NXT had a Survivor Series in War Games. But I guess in hindsight, that was pretty much an excuse to get William Regal on there. Which, hey, I'm not complaining about too much because it was cool to hear William Regal say War Games once again. But but yeah, so a lot of people feel for those reasons that Survivor Series is starting to get a little repetitive, starting to get predictable, starting to get worn out. Now, for the other side of things, for starters, I guess to kind of talk about or rebuttal some of those claims, which are, I think, some very fair claims. For starters, it kind of felt like that when it was not War Games as well. Some of the teams did feel kind of thrown together as well back then, and it's not a modern issue. It definitely kind of felt that way back then as well. Especially when they did SmackDown versus Raw. I kind of felt like, hey, here's five guys, and then hey, here's five other guys, except or women, of course, or even when they did the tag teams one. But yeah, it feels like, oh, here's five guys, oh, here's five other guys, or women, and of course, or except if they're fighting because they're on different brands. The other thing I want to bring up is that, and a lot of people, when they talk about potentially doing brand warfare for Survivor Series, they mean matches like the 2005 Survivor Series. That match, which is a very, very good match, a very fantastic match, and of course there's some and of course there were fantastic non War Game Survivor Series matches is for several years. This is the 39th Survivor Series, so at least if I'm doing my math correctly, hopefully I got my math right here. At least 35 of those featured some traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. Most Not all of them were bad. Some were pretty fantastic, but nevertheless, so a lot of people feel like, hey, it'd be cool to go back to brand warfare. But my rebuts to that point is, some of those teams kind of felt thrown together as well. The second is that a lot of people, up until War Games, in fact, around on when War Games was going to be, was announced to be yeah, coming to the main roster back in 2022. A lot of people had started to get sick of the just brand warfare SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series matches. A lot of people felt like they were just kind of thrown together, that things weren't very cohesive. They didn't make sense, especially when the rivals, they're in this fierce, intense rivalry, but for one night they just kind of forget about it. It always was cool the when you kept the story going throughout the match. Actually, an example of that is in 2016 when Dean Ambrose, who was on SmackDown, attacked alongside Roman and Seth, who were on Raw and on their respective teams, attacked AJ Styles, who A was WWE champion at the time, and B was on Team SmackDown. Dean, forgetting brand loyalty, wanting to go after AJ Styles instead. So that was always cool, but a lot of people had started to get sick of just as doing brand warfare just because, as to where it felt like an obligation. Oh, here's five people from Raw, versus here's these five people from SmackDown. Now, how the idea on paper makes sense, like just get to show the best from both Raw and SmackDown, but didn't always work in execution. And the other thing is that it feels like the brand split it is coming to an end once again. Like the brand split admittedly has kind of been on its last legs for quite some time now. I'd say probably even before her Triple H and everything took over. Her the brand split or the brand distinctions between Raw and SmackDown had kind of been faltering again, and with Raw superstars appearing on SmackDown, SmackDown superstars appearing on Raw. Remember they did something similar in 2011 where they were doing like the Raw Super Show with SmackDown superstars coming to Raw and everything before they just decided to not do the to kind of end the brand split kind of quietly to where it was just Raw and SmackDown again, and so it feels like for that, at bringing back brand warfare at this point in time wouldn't really make it would make somewhat sense. And it's like if you still want to do like if they went back to traditional Survivor Series, if you still want to do like the champions versus champions, like the WWE champion versus the World Heavyweight Champion, you want to do the Women's World Champion versus women's champion, and if you want to do the mid card titles versus each other or the tag titles versus each other, I think and you could do that. But otherwise, as the lines between the brands are kind of blurred and kind of muddled once again. But there so there's that aspect to kind of rebut. But for the people who do enjoy War Games at Survivor Series, the matches do oftentimes get kind of brutal, and we have seen some pretty cool moments. And these couple years that War Games has been at Survivor Series, including when Randy Orton hit the RKO after I believe it was Cody he no Cody was there for the Crossroads. I forgot who it was who sent JD McDonough down. Oh, and then Randy nailed him with the RKO when Randy returned at Survivor Series in 2023. Then of course there was a return of CM Punk also, but that was more after the match and the other thing is that even though it's not always told the best, I do like how there's oftentimes more of a story involved when it comes to these matches. In 2022, it was the Bloodline who were the dominant faction versus like this unstoppable entity versus as a lot of the people who they had wronged, mainly Drew McIntyre, reconciling with Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes, and getting Kevin Owens into the mix. And then we saw Sami Zayn's loyalty. Will he choose the Bloodline or will he choose Kevin Owens? Ultimately, in that match, choosing the Bloodline. In 2023, it was Cody and friends, and including the reformed Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, who was there alongside Jey Uso, going up against the Judgment Day. And promising the return of Randy Orton. And then even last year, even though I didn't quite enjoy last year's Survivor Series as much as the previous two, it was as OG Bloodline who had kind of come back together but didn't feel like a fully cohesive unit because of all the tension and bad blood in history versus the newer but seemingly more airtight, rock solid new bloodline of Solo Sokoa uh, and what are now is MFTs, alongside Jacob Fatu, is not an MFT anymore, of course, because uh, he uh, he turned on Solo earlier this year at Money in the Bank. So telling more of that story, like I said, and not always the best, especially when it comes to the women. The women they kind of try to work like I can see what they're trying to do with the women where they kind of try to work backwards, like get the teams there first and then tell the story from there, but you can't always do that. Sometimes you can get away with it, but not always. But it does make a little bit more sense and compared to just here's five people from Raw and then five people from SmackDown. So now that I've kind of presented both sides, what are my thoughts? Honestly, I think there may be a compromise we could reach, especially if the rumors of them wanting to do 2 nights of Survivor Series along with 2 nights of like Royal Rumble, so that all the big four pay-per-views who's have the 2 nights. Especially if that rumor is true, then you probably could do both. Both have a women's War Games match and a men's War Games match, but then also have traditional Survivor Series matches as well. I think you probably could do both. You probably could get away with doing both. And in terms of build it up in a meaningful, exciting way, and I think you can definitely. I think you can definitely do it. So think there's a way to do it and make it feel fresh. And make things feel refreshing when it comes to that. But we'll have to wait and see what this year's Survivor Series will bring. And, am I gonna watch it live on ESPN? I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen a single. I admittedly have not seen a single pay per view slash premium live event on ESPN, and yet because way too expensive. If I'll just be honest, it's pretty expensive. Uh, but maybe I'll tune in for Survivor Series. I'm not entirely sure. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this discussion video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts? Do you think WWE should stop doing War Games at Survivor Series? Do you want them to continue doing it? Do you like my idea of having a compromise where they kind of do both? Please let me know your thoughts and more in the comments, as well as kind of my take slash analysis of it. And if there's anything I'm missing, anything that I should know when it comes to this, any extra insights, please feel free to let me know. Don't be afraid to let me know in the comments. And yeah, and let me know if you guys are watching Survivor Series this year. And it is crazy to think that there was potentially a world where we didn't have Survivor Series anymore. So the story goes that Vince was going to cancel Survivor Series, but I forgot exactly what happened. The investors wanted it or something like that, to where Survivor Series got to stay, but Vince almost canceled Survivor Series. But this was, I think, like the early days of. Actually, I think this was around I want to say it was around 2005 or 2006. I'll probably what I'll do is I'll probably end this part of it off here, and then uh probably look it up, or I can see if I can find it. I'll find it here. Or let's see. Hey, okay, I'm not able to find it here. But if I do find, actually, let me try looking it up. We're gonna do this live here. You're still gonna hear my voice. You're still gonna see the gameplay. Hey, which thankfully I managed to keep to one game this time. Hopefully, he he you know that that's. I asked about Survivor Series, and the Google AI came up with Survivor, like the Survivor show. But uh, uh, but uh, but I can't seem to find the I can't seem to find the Survivor Series being canceled story. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll end off this part of my voiceover recording, and then I'll see if I can find it real quick, and then put it in an addendum. If not, this will just stay as is because this video is already pretty damn long. But I'll see if I can find it and then put it in the end. If not, then this will just be as is. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace. All right, okay, so I am back here. We officially have a verdict. So it was around 2010 that they were planning on canceling Survivor Series. Vince made a call saying Survivor Series was coming to an end, that they were going to cancel it. They talked about how the sales for the 2009 Survivor Series weren't that great, and that Survivor Series would be discontinued, and they felt it was obsolete. But they kept it on due to fan outcry, and it's been around ever since, which is crazy that it almost got taken off the table. And well, and I can kind of see that, especially with I think that was around the time where they were doing the bragging rights pay per view, and they kind of teased that, oh, maybe this will replace Survivor Series. So you can tell they were thinking about replacing Survivor Series, or even getting rid of it, getting rid of it entirely, or getting rid of the concept entirely. And apparently, they sent out a survey as well to the WWE fans, including what other stuff do you want to see replace Survivor Series? Do you want to see? I think there was something I saw it on the Reddit comments. Do you want to see pay per view called Street Fight, uh, which if Ryu and or Guile are not there, or M Bison, and he doesn't talk about how it being Tuesday for him, you can keep it. It they talk about potentially doing war games. Games they talk about deciding stipulations with the raw roulette. I'm kind of reading quickly this comment here on Reddit. Um, and at the end there was, and at the end it said pay per view themed around SmackDown versus Raw, which is kind of what bragging rights was. As and bragging rights, they had like the trophy and everything. I remember, but ultimately Survivor Series stayed. So yeah, I just wanted to add that little blurb there at the end. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace.